For me, it's always been there, intertwined in my first memories. I can't remember a time when it was not there. It was like the ever-present background static on our RCA Victor floor radio that sat next to the blue divan in our living room in the early 50s. Sometimes the static overpowered the signal of Clear Channel WSM, and sometimes it was barely noticeable due to weather conditions, I expect, but always there. Rarely the static would take on form and would come through as some distant, mysterious radio station and be intermittently understandable only to fade away. The call of God on my life has been much like that. Sometimes so loud that it blocked off everything, and sometimes just a distant scratchiness that was scarcely audible. However, always there. But even when the call was loud and overpowering, I was usually unsure what it was saying. I just knew that it was there, always there, drawing and pulling me toward the unseen. My dad was a preacher, so everyone assumed, since my two older brothers had not chosen the ministerial path, that I would. But it was more than that, much more than what people expected or what my parents desired. I was haunted by the ever-present drawing static and occasional clear word or phrase. All of this spiritual activity was hard on a young boy and was not conducive to normal relationships with other kids. It separated me from others who labeled me strange. It may be because I overcompensated in a near-fatal attempt to be accepted by peers, or just grew weary of the background noise. But whatever the motivation, in my teens I made a compensatory move to be like other non-preacher people. I purposely moved far enough away from God as to not hear the call. I thought God was calling me to ministry, so I ran. I'd seen the pain church people inflicted on my dad, and I was going to have no part of it. I did not relish the pain, nor did I enjoy the idea of being in relative poverty. Little did I know that God wasn't calling me to ministry. He was calling me to himself. Now, after over 3 decades of pastoring and ministering to church people, the kind of folks that I grew up hating, I have come to understand that the call is when God is calling you to himself. He doesn't call you to ministry. He calls you to him. He will custom fit his yoke upon you so his burden will be light on your shoulders. He will teach you by his actions so you will be gentle and without pride like he is. Then when you find rest and peace in your mind, in your will and emotions, then and only then will he send you out to the whitened fields. These fields are either the life or death of a preacher, because they're filled with sheep that look like wolves and wolves that look like sheep, all grazing together. This harvest is only for the ones that Jesus has prepared and sent, because when the call is misinterpreted, the calling for the sending, the two tragic things occur. They kill the sheep that look like wolves, and while gloating over the victory, the wolves that look like sheep kill them and eat them and their family. No more miserable existence has ever been lived, or torturous death ever experienced, than the called that assumes he's been sent. No greater appointment has ever been granted, or greater anointing ever given, or more rewarding life ever lived than the one that God has called to himself and sent out in the image of his Son, Jesus.